Okay, yeah, I mean, in this weird world of being on the periphery of actual, real life, like national events, like that get seen on TV all across the country and like all across the world. Stuff like that has happened to me, and they happen to other people. There are actual other people, and some of these people are really human beings. I mean, actual, really human beings. Like with a heart and a soul and a rationality and some sort of ethical system of life, and I don't know, something that's guiding them to making them do the things that they do. So to get back to where we were before, which I'm sorry, I do this all the time. It's because they're going all over the place. And well, like I've been saying, I've never been manic before. Nothing like this. And it's really scary. But it's also really interesting if I can detach myself from the pain. Because I think I'm becoming self-actualizated. Or something's happening. I don't know if it's an epiphany. Actually, it seems to have been a series of epiphanies. And they've all come out of all this really bad stuff that's been going on in my life lately. And I described it in that one text. I'm sure I sent this one to you about how it starts off with a series of small, unfortunate events. Just like, I guess I'm going to have to copyright that, but I think in movie screens and the lyrics, and they never stop. And right now they never stop. Sometimes they slow down, sometimes they'll be quiet, but they're there. And I'm not hearing them out here, but they're in here. And what doesn't make, that's the way we're hearing it. I mean, living it subjectively, because we often live life subjectively. We can't help it. We try to be objective. We try so hard to be objective. But, I don't know. Stuff happens. Like I was saying, getting back to where I was. It starts off as a series of unfortunate events that normally, each in themselves, each one, is no big deal. But one starts piling on top of the other, and then the other, and then the other. And you're starting to feel a little shaky here. You're feeling the edges. And then, wham! Something really major happens. Like somebody has died, or you have to move. And you know how it's hard to move. You gotta go through all your stuff. You gotta pack it up. You gotta worry about it. You got to, and then when you get there, you gotta figure out how to do it all over again in this other place and all this other stuff. So it's stressful, even if you want to move. It's still stressful because, there's good stress and bad stress, but some good stress or good things can be just as stressful. If you ever take that test with the check marks and you go all the way down, and my number at that time, and this was back in '97 when I thought then that was like the end of the world. See, now I get to do the end of the world again. It's like end of the world 2, and this time it really is worse. I mean, this is like a bad series of those like earthquake movies. You know what I mean? Which one was the first one? Gosh. The first one I think might have been the Towering Inferno, but it started this whole scheme. Just this, we got the Towering Inferno. Well, that whole plot line. Hey, that sells. Okay, so then. We get the Poseidon Adventure was definitely one of the early ones. Okay, definitely. And that had Erginus Borgnine, and I got a lot to say about him later. Oh man, I love him. Yeah, wow. That's another part of this whole thing is all the men that I love, that I know that I'll ever meet, all the men I'm in love with are dead.
Ernest Borgnine is one of my favorites of all time.
What?
Ernest Borgnine.
Yes, and you know what? You have the answer to the question. It's on my criteria of what I'm looking for in my perfect mate. It's one of the last questions. David knows what it is, and he had no clue. No clue. Let me try to get it exactly the way I wrote it. Why is Ernest Borgnine so important to me? In this case, it was television history. I'm pretty sure he won the award for television, but I don't know if he also did it for the film. But in any case, he won this award. And he won this award because of this speech he gave. He gave this speech near the end of the movie. You know, Marty is just, the character is named Marty. The actor is Ernest Borgnine. But in my mind, they're the same person. I'm sorry, I just think that way. I can't help myself. It's just, anyhow. Marty, he's sitting at a table. Actually, he's sitting at a table with a friend, and I think later he does it actually with his mother. But basically this goes, you know, Ernest Borgnine, you know, he's not ugly or anything, but he's, you know, I don't know, but, you know, he's got a heart of gold. He is a really good man. And he has been, like, waiting hand and foot on his mother for years. Like, that, I don't know, it's just one of these dysfunctional things going on. And he meets a girl who seems to like him. And he kind of likes her. But the mother says, you know, oh, she's not good enough, or, oh, God, I don't know if she's not good enough, or she's not rich enough, or whatever. She's no good. But, you know, the guy, he's lonely. You know, he's what, I guess in the movie, he's what, like 30 years old, or maybe he's 37, but anyhow, he's, you know, older than most people by that time, in that place, to have been married. Now people get married a lot later. That's another big part of the premise is, you know, what we live in this now is not the same as the now that was there. I mean, and that there could just not even be a whole generation. But that has a big deal of it because you can only experience life once again subjectively and in the generation, listening to that music when it came out new, seeing those movies when it came out new, and that at times we have sort of a common not mores exactly. There's another word for it.
I'm going to